Hey guys, it's Bob. I hope you're all doing well. And today we're going to look at a feature within forScore called Replay. Now this is something I didn't know about until very recently and it's so cool. So what it allows you to do is link an audio track to your sheet music and automate page turns with the audio track. So as that audio track plays, you can program the page turns to happen at specific points, which is really exciting. Like, that's so cool to me. The people I'm thinking of for use cases, myself for practicing, if you've got a really long score and you're playing to a backing track, then that's so useful. You just take 5 minutes to set this all up, and every time you practice it to the backing track, your page turns are going to happen automatically. So that's really cool. For teaching, I think this would be useful too. I'm thinking for my students, I'm going to start using this to play the audio as well as them to follow along with. Because some of these scores, once you get into multiple pages, the one we're looking at today, I think it has 4 or 5 pages. So, there's nothing worse than trying to turn pages on the stand with a book. So maybe my students have a hard copy of the book, and in our lessons, we can work through with the digital copy that I have on my iPad. I'm also thinking for like soloists and duos, if you're playing with a backing track, if you're actually performing with a backing track on stage, so you can run that from your iPad and you're also following along with the music. You've got the lyrics maybe and some of the chords on there. So if it's more than one page, you can have it keep up with the backing track, which is really cool. So I've got my iPad here, and let's just dive into this and see what we need to get everything set up. So first of all here, you can see the piece that I'm working with today is 7 Days by Sting. And this is from the Trinity Rock and Pop series of books. I think this one's a grade 8. So we're gonna have a look at this. When I bought this, you get the sheet music, you get a PDF, and you also get all the backing tracks. So there's 3 backing tracks, and we're gonna link those all 3 to this, and then we're gonna automate one of them to turn the pages when we're playing. So if we tap at the top of the screen here on the name of the chart, that pulls up all the metadata. You can see I filled out some of this here. I've got the composer, some tags. I've changed the one below that to type. So I have lessons, shows, things like that. And at the very bottom here, you've got these little tabs. Well, not the very bottom, the bottom of the white section, we've got the tabs. By default, it's always on layout. The one we want to tap on, you might have guessed, is audio. So if you tap on audio, everything below that is just blank, right? It's just a sort of grayed out section. At the bottom of the grayed out section, you'll see we've got 2 icons with notes in it. So the circular one, that links to Apple Music. So if you have an Apple Music subscription, you can pull those tracks in, and it doesn't even save them, I don't think. I think you can, as long as you've got internet, it will stream them as you're playing once you hit play. So that's cool. But we're going to use the one next to that today, which is putting in your own track. So if you've got MP3s downloaded, or if you've created your own backing tracks and you've got them saved on your iPad, you can import them through there. This also works on a computer too, because forScore is now on Mac. So same thing if you're on Mac. So we're going to hit that sort of rectangular one at the bottom, and that's going to pull up the options for audio files. So these are all the audio files. I think I have all of these in forScore. Yes, I do. These are all the ones I've imported to forScore. It's really easy now to import them to forScore. If you haven't done it before, you just need the Files app is getting really good on iPad, and you can have split screen on your iPad with Files on one side, forScore on the other, and literally just drag and drop them into forScore. It's that easy now. So we're not going to cover that, but what I'm going to do is look for 7 Days, and here you go. Here's my 3 backing tracks. So we've got one is a demo that has the drums in it, a backing with a click, and a backing without the click. So I'm going to tap on all 3 of those, and you can see with a little dot next to it, that means that they're now linked to the score. So we're going to hit done, and you can now see in that little audio section, we've got these 3 tracks. So the first one is the demo, then backing with click, backing without click, and then backing with a click. Okay, so that's us done for this section. That is the audio linked to the score. So if we tap onto the score, you'll now see we've got this little audio tab at the bottom here, and we've got a scrubber. So you can see the length of this is 4 minutes 52, and we've got our play, pause, back to the beginning, and our volume down here. You can even tap the little AirPlay button, and you can play it to different speakers. I've got a HomePod and an Apple TV here that you could play it through, you know, so some cool options there too. And the rectangle to the left, you can see we've got 3 little dots under it. So if I tap the next arrow, sorry, that's a square, isn't it? That's not a rectangle. We've got the 3 different versions, right? So you choose the one that you want and you hit play. So what we're going to do for today's purposes, we're going to do the back end without the click. Let's do that one. Okay, so this is actually really important, and this is something hopefully forScore can change. You want to start on the page, like your first page. You can't change this later on. You can change everything else, but you can't change the page that you start on. So make sure that you're on the page that you want to be on, and pull up the little audio tab at the bottom. So it's just a tap on the screen to pull that up and put it away, right? Single tap. So you'll notice there's little icons next to the play button. The one that looks like there's a little arrow, that's kind of signifying a page turn. So you want to tap that one. It's highlighted. And now you get this pop-up, replay. So this is the feature we're looking at today. It says, record your page turns while listening to this audio track for use during subsequent plays. To begin, listen to the audio track and turn pages when appropriate. So when you hit begin, your track that you've got selected is going to play. And then literally you just sit and you turn the page when you would like the page to be turned. It's going to save that and then it'll replay it every time. So I'm going to do that now. I will fast forward this for you so you don't have to sit through 5 minutes of this, and I'll see you in a few minutes. Okay, so I've finished playing through it now. One thing I should say to finish it, you can either let the audio track run to the end and then it will save it, or you probably notice while you're listening to it, there's a little cross in the top right hand corner. So you can tap that. You know, once you get to the top of the last page, you don't have to sit and wait for the track to play all the way through. You can just finish it whenever you're ready. So let's jump back into the iPad here. Now, you'll notice at the bottom now, along the scrubber, we have all those different page turns, right? You can see where they're saved as little slashes in the scrubber. So if we hit the 3 dots icon all the way at the end of the scrubber here, you can now see the page turns, okay? Now I accidentally turned to page 3 like 8 seconds in. So this is a perfect example of what we're gonna do to delete this. So this first page turn was an accidental one. So we're going to swipe from right to left on top of that and delete. And I went back to page 2, but we didn't want to leave page 2, so I'm going to delete that as well. Okay, so we start on page 2, because in this score, page 1 gives you information about the song and stuff like that. So that's what I was saying at the beginning. You can't actually change that. If we swipe right to left on that, there's no option to change it, and you can't drag these page turns. It'd be nice if they had a sort of little, the little hamburger icon that we saw earlier, where you could move the audio tracks up and down once you link them to the score. If you had that with your page turns, that'd be really nice, because you could, if you accidentally started in the wrong thing and went all the way through it, you'd have to do the whole thing again. So something like that would be really nice if forScore are listening. So looking at this, we've got page 2 where we start, we go to page 3, we go to page 4. You'll notice I go back to page 3. That's because this song has a DS in it, which is on page 3. And then we go to page 4, and right away I skip to page 5. The coda is on page 5. So the DS and the 2 coda, that whole section, is on page 3. So again, I want to delete page 4, because that was just me turning it to then turn to page 5. So I'm going to delete page 4. I hope this isn't too confusing. So you can now see we start on page 2, we turn to page 3, turn to page 4, we go back to 3 for the DS, and then we jump all the way to 5 for the coda. Okay? Now, I think I was late in jumping to the coda because I had like a double page turn. I skipped to 4 then 5. So if we tap on page 5, the page turn here, you see the audio file above the scrubber. We can move this around with your finger, right? So I think I want to be, that's probably the start of the bar. So I want to be a little bit earlier so that we've got some time. And then you hit set next to that. And then I'm going to hit done. So if I hit play, I'll pull this all the way back to the beginning. And just for an example, I'm going to start this on the wrong page, right? I'm going to start this on page number 5. And I'm going to hit play, and it should jump right back to page 2, which is the start of the drums. I just think that is so cool. Every time you hit play, it's going to take you back to the first page. Okay, and let's move the scrubber along a little bit to the first page turn. And I'm going to hit play here. It's like magic, right? So cool. And let's just check that last one. You can keep, if you keep scrubbing along, it will do the page turns as you hit them. Right, that's that one. That's back to the DS. So let's check this out. So going from the DS to the coda. Oh wow, it had already turned to the coda there. So it's not quite accurate, these little slashes to show where they are on the, on the audio track. That's not 100% accurate. Okay, that's not bad. It could probably be slightly earlier, but that's okay. So for the purposes of this video, that is everything you need to know about linking it. And a couple other cool things while we're here. So if you didn't want to do that anymore, you just tap the replay button again, and now your audio track is back to normal. But here's the really cool thing. If you tap the replay button, it pulls up all those page turns again. So you can toggle those page turns on and off with that replay button. Another cool thing, and this was something I wish that Trinity had done with their backing tracks. I wish they had ones that were slightly slower for my students to like learn these faster songs, right? Learn them at a slower speed, but still to the music, because it's a bit more fun. If you hit the icon above the replay button, the one that looks like a sort of a mixer knob, you've got all the control of the speed in here, right? So you can literally just drag it down to 80% speed, right? So that would be a great place to learn. If we hit play, just so that you can hear this, that's a fair bit slower. So this is an amazing practice tool, being able to keep the page turns in there and have the audio linked to the score, playing at different speeds, all these things. So you can toggle that on and off. Let's see, let's put it back to 1 time, which will be 100%. So what else do we have here? Yeah, you can do the loop section. So these little handles, you can drag them. The one that goes up is your start point. The one that goes down is the end point. And if you hit play, it will just loop between those. So that was terrible placement there, but you can see the point. It's a little bit finicky. This could be improved a little bit to, I think the whole audio section in particular could be a little bit slicker, but it's very useful and it's really cool. And again, like I say, this is all new to me, so we'll leave it there for today. That is diving into this replay feature within forScore. Like I say, this is so cool. I think there's room for improvement here with a couple things. Being able to see the multiple tracks too. I don't like the way that we switch between the 3 backing tracks that I have in here. I haven't used the little arrows next to the square, and I'm guessing that square is where your album art would go. I don't have album art that go with these tracks. I should probably look into that, but it's probably for your album art, I would imagine, if you've got that metadata with the audio. So I hope that helps you. Let me know in the comments if you're using this, what you're using it for, because I just had a couple ideas, but it'd be cool to hear what you're all using it for. And if you knew about this already, I had a look on YouTube and there was not a single video covering the replay feature. So I wanted to make my own to help anyone who's looking for that. All right. So thanks for watching. Again, if you found this useful, please subscribe down below. I've got a few more forScore videos, and let me know if you want to see any more forScore stuff. I've got a few tips and tricks that I could possibly share. I could make like a sort of top 5 tips for drummers in particular. So let me know if you want to see any of that. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.